In this video we are going to talk about how to prepare our machine for development and testing of Java Web Services and Java Web APIs. So the software that we are going to use for development is NetBeans. So first of all, go to netbeans.org website. So this will be the URL, netbeans.org/downloads. So it will take you to the download page of NetBeans IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. So as of today, 2nd of March, the latest version available for IDE is 8.0.2. And if you really see on this page, there are multiple flavors of NetBeans available. There is one Java SE, Java EE, C++ version, HTML and PHP, and one installer which contains all of them in one particular installer. But what we are going to need for development of web services is Java EE edition. So we'll proceed with the download of this particular version. So this is a big installer which is 186 MB. So I have already downloaded it. So you can download and get started with the next steps. So what I'm going to start with is the version that I have downloaded. If you see, this reads to be NetBeans 8.0.2 Java EE on Windows. So let's double click to start the installer. And this installation takes a very long time. So before we start even installing it, you can keep a note of time. It's 9:57 p.m. and we'll see how much time it is going to take to install. And if your machine is slower, then it may take longer on your machine. In case you have a faster disk, in case you are using a solid state disk, generally the installer runs very fast on that. But I'm using a normal SATA hard disk, so here we'll see installation of the software is going to take a little longer. So sometimes what happens, the screen disappears because in the background it is doing some processing to prepare all the installers. So it will be back in a while. Let's go to Task Manager to see the installer is still running. So we can go to the Details tab. If you really see, this is using 99% of the disk. That's the reason we are seeing this is a little slow. Okay, so that starts our installation, configuring the installer NetBeans IDE. So once the installer is configured, it will show us a dialog which says welcomes to NetBeans IDE installer. So select the application servers to be installed with IDE. So we are fine with the default options. So we'll proceed with Glassfish. Let's say next. So here it's talking about license agreement. So we will have to accept it in order to proceed. It's talking about JUnit license agreement. We don't need JUnit unit testing framework for our work. So what we can say is it's safe to say do not install JUnit. So there is only one setting that we have overridden, installation of JUnit. Now it is telling us what are the default locations where IDE would be installed and JDK would be installed. So we can proceed with the defaults. For Glassfish server also we can accept the default values and we can proceed. Here it is asking for check for updates. So let me uncheck it and proceed. So now we have started installation at 9:59 p.m. and by the time installer ends, we'll see it would have taken a lot of time. So I'll skip the video for this progress bar and we'll be back when installation is about to complete. So once the installation is over, you will see the screen setup complete. So there is a checkbox here which says contribute to NetBeans project by providing anonymous data. So what happens when we are using this IDE, some data will be collected in the background and will be sent to NetBeans community so that they can make it better and better. So we'll leave this check as checked and we say finish. So that completes installation of NetBeans IDE. After the installation is over, you will see an icon on your desktop, NetBeans IDE.